This is a live project plan in ClickUp. All tasks scheduled, dependencies connected, progress tracked in real time, and every deadline visible at a glance. I have built this from scratch, and over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how. If you're still running projects out of a spreadsheet, here's what changes. A spreadsheet is static. This isn't. Your team logs their own progress, dependencies shift automatically when dates move, and you can see every project you are managing in one view. By the end of this video, you'll have a fully structured project plan, a working Gantt view, and a system that can handle 2 projects at once without losing your mind. I'm Hina, ClickUp Verified Expert and Services Partner. I'm the person 200 plus businesses have trusted to streamline their operations. Let's dive in. I want to quickly show you the Google Sheet version of this plan because most teams start here and it's a solid foundation. You have got phases, task IDs, assignees, start and due dates, estimated days, a status drop-down, dependencies noted as text, milestones, flags, and percentage complete column. There's also milestones tab and more tabs. I've got 2 projects here, a CRM implementation and a website development one. 2 separate tabs with more associated tabs. 2 status columns I have to manually update. If I want to see everything assigned to one person across both projects this week, I'm actually filtering 2 different sheets. The plan is good, but maintenance is the problem, which we will solve in ClickUp. First thing that we need in ClickUp is a space, which is a top-level container for a team or department. I'm utilizing the one called Active Projects. You can have different clients having more than one type of project or service that you provide. Therefore, it is a good approach to set up a folder for that client. I'm calling it Demo Client. This is where all of your projects will live for a single client. When I create a folder, a list is also created by default. So I'm going to rename this list to determine my website development project. So just right-click on 3 dots and then choose Rename. Now this is your project as a list, which will carry on all the tasks inside it, which you will be setting up on the right side data. So you can see here that this project is coming under the folder Demo Client. So that can be the name of your client. And then at the top level, it's a space for active projects. So this is how the hierarchy works. There is a separate video on that, which you can see later as well to understand the hierarchy better. Now on the right side, let's set up the project fields according to what we have in the Google Sheets. The first column is the phase, which is discovery, strategy, build, design. So what we'll do is that click on the right for columns, and I'm choosing drop down. So this is a custom field that we're going to create. I'm going to give the field name as a web phase because I already have phases as a custom field. And in the drop-down options, I am copying the different phases that we had. You can change the colors, you can drag and drop the fields as well. And this is how your web phase field is created. Next, go into the fields and just choose the start date because that's not a custom field. It's a default field available in ClickUp. Now let's see the statuses. When you right click on the 3 dots on the list, you can see task statuses, and by default it is inheriting from space. However, our project can have different statuses like not started, in progress, complete, at risk, blocked. There is milestone as well, but we can set milestone as a task type in ClickUp, so we will not be using it as a status. So I am choosing custom statuses. This will be handy when I'll set it up as a template, and that can be used in any of the other projects as well. So I'm giving it a name as web projects, apply the changes. And now if I'll go on the top on the board view, which is more of a Kanban view, you can see all of those statuses that we just set up. The board or Kanban view is handy to drag and drop tasks as well. Now let's go back into the fields and enable time estimate. If you don't see that, go into your ClickUps in the settings and enable time estimates. Also remember that usually the time which we have in Excel is in days, but ClickUp calculates it in hours. Now we have the notes and comments. So for that, I am not using the text field, I am using the AI summary field. I'll rename it to latest update, and I'm going to use the template progress update. So by default, it gives me the information about the task, what the latest activity had been, and I'll choose the automation to autofill when the tasks are created and also when the task changes. So any of the changes get reflected there. Now that we have all the fields created, I'm going to go into the Excel sheet and copy the tasks that we have for the discovery phase. I copied them, and here when I paste them, it asked me to create 4 tasks. So this is quite handy. And I check the checkbox and then set up the custom field web phase to discovery here. I've also copied the milestone, and here I am changing the type to milestone and setting up the web phase to discovery. Now similarly, I will go in and add up the task for the other phase. This is quite quicker when you just copy and paste and then select that task, and based on the custom field you want to set, you can do that here as well. So all of the tasks from the Excel sheet have been copied here, and the web phase is being set up. You can also group by the custom field, which is web phase, and save the view. So this gives you an overview of all of those tasks based on each web phase. Now we are going to set up the time estimate. As I mentioned earlier, that ClickUp time estimate are in hours, as our Excel sheet had those ones in days. So I'm converting them into hours and setting them up here. Now we have all the time estimates being set up, and before determining the start and due dates, we'll set up the dependencies so that when we set up the dates, the dependencies also get rescheduled if needed. Now here, the user research and interviews is dependent on audit existing website. So I will go into the user research and interview and click on relationships. And here we have the 5 types where I'll choose waiting on. And if I just click on and type in audit existing website, it will get up here. Now you can see the icons as well, waiting on and blocking for the dependencies. The discovery sign off is actually waiting on multiple tasks. So we'll choose those all together here again. User research and interviews, competitor and market research, and audit existing website. So these are the 3 tasks this milestone is to start. Also, now the discovery sign off is blocking some other tasks in the strategy phase, like defining the sitemap and information architecture. So we'll go back in the discovery sign off and choose blocking. So this is the second dependency, and choose all of those 3 tasks. So they will come up here, and now you can see that in the strategy, it shows the tasks that are blocking. So I have set up all of the dependencies now. Now it's the time to set up the start date and the due date. Make sure that you have reschedule dependencies ClickUp app set up in the settings being enabled, so that whenever you change the dates, the dependencies get rescheduled accordingly. So now you can see that whenever I'm adding up the dates, I get a notification that the dependency is being rescheduled as well. The time estimates don't have anything to do with these durations, so they work independently. So I'm going to add all of the start and the due dates. You can also hide columns if they are not needed. So I'm just showing you how I hide the priority column. The grouping features enables you to perform actions collectively. So for the discovery phase tasks, I select them and choose one assignee. In your case, if the assignees are different, then you can just come in and set up the assignees accordingly. But this is quite handy. You can also utilize the board view if you're more into Kanban, and the drag and drop becomes quite easier. You can see the statuses as well. Now let's add the view, the Gantt view, which is really important in project plans. You can see here how tasks are being dependent on each other. The milestones are in red, and we can also reschedule any dependencies or add more time. So I'm adding 2 more days to this task. I just drag in, and it has increased it to 14 days Before it was 12 days, and the dependence tasks have also been moved. We can customize the view. If you enable the critical path, it shows that in red. And if you have any slack time, it will show up. You can show the more fields from here, or you can go into your columns on the left and add up any columns to show up. So if I just do the web phase, it will show you the phases as well. So you can customize it as you need. Now, if you want to add some description, right click on the list and use the list info to provide any description, add any project lead, etc. Here I have created the next project, the CRM implementation. I have already created it just to show you how the phases work and how it is different in approach to the website development one. It has its own statuses, its own custom fields. Like you see, we have phase here instead of web phase, different timeline, but the same approach. So this task statuses, this is using the CRM implementation one. So because they have a different workflow. So this is how handy it is in ClickUp when you set up different lists inside the same folder, but different workflow. Now let's create a dashboard for this particular project CRM implementation. I'm going to choose a simple dashboard. You can add more cards to see what data is useful for you as a project manager. And you can utilize the schedule report button to schedule this report to be sent out on a scheduled time. Now, this was when it is at a project level. However, if you are a project manager who is managing multiple projects, then it's better to set up the dashboard at the folder level so that for one particular client, if you have multiple projects, you can have a combined report. So this is where these views are really handy, and this is why the structure is really, really important. So you can add more cards to this dashboard, whatever is useful and relevant to your project management stuff. And if you are an executive and want to set up the dashboard at the top level to see every project irrespective of the client, then you should have a dashboard at the space level. So this is how the hierarchy matches at every level, and how different users based on their roles can have views set up. Now going back to the website development project where we have the AI custom field set up for the status updates, let's see how it works in action when we have any changes done to a particular task. So at the moment, if I go in and click on any of it, it is showing that this has not been started and what web phase it is being set up to. So let's go in and just change the status of a task to in progress. And now it will show you once we refresh that this is the status has been changed to in progress. So it will become more handy when there will be more commands and interaction going on with that particular task. Once you have everything set up, you can apply filters to see your data based on specific categories. So for instance, you can choose filters for assignees, or here I'm using task type if it is a milestone. So this will give me all of those tasks that are milestones. So I can either save this or save it as a new view so that the original list keeps in contact, and this just gives me the milestones. So I will rename it to milestones. You can also pin important views to appear on the start. So for instance, if Gantt is important, you just pin it and it will start appearing at the really beginning. If you want more views like calendar, and if you have a particular document related to this project, you can add up a doc as well. So this is how useful it is as compared to the Google Sheets that we had. That's it for today. If you want me to streamline this for you, the booking link is in the description. See you next time.